He goes by T-REV, so we'll call him that as well, and he joins us now. Thank you very much for coming with your splendid YOLO hat on. You only live once.
I count my blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
If BK is indeed Papa Rogers, would specific scenarios he discussed on an open forum be considered as like a confession or anything in that to that matter?
Well, the reason Papa Roger always caught my eye, and it was not only the specificity he gave that really lined up to things that nobody knew pre-affidavit, right? It's really intriguing. Do I think Papa Roger is Bryan Kohberger? I'm still not sure. I think it's very possible. But if it is him, oh my gosh, this would be an amazing piece of evidence for the prosecution, because it really falls to tantalizing the public, putting what he did out there and asking questions about it, which would show his knowledge. And it would be very important piece of evidence to show the jury.
And because I looked at a post that he put up on November 30th, and somebody, or he actually posted something about the knife sheath, right? He was like, no, I think the killer left the knife sheath at the scene. And when I seen that, I was like, wow. Or I had people in my community that tell me, Rev, I was in this Facebook group and I seen Papa Rogers' name disappear in front of my eyes. They said it just completely disappeared, vanished. So I was kind of blown away by that. The whole suspect vehicle number 1. Is there a vehicle 2? Is there a vehicle 3? Could you, tell people what that means? Or is it, law enforcement lingo?
Right. So as somebody who, when you write a probable cause affidavit, it's really up to you, the author, as to how you want to refer to suspect vehicle 1, how you want to refer to the suspect, how you want to refer to suspect telephone, and all these things. I think that this individual, that was their writing style. I've seen it both ways. When there's a singular suspect, I've seen it as just suspect. In other words, when there's not more. But I've also seen people want to designate that one just so it sticks out a little bit. This is our vehicle. This is number 1. This is the vehicle we're looking at. I really think it's a writing style. There's no other vehicle.
Did you give some background on the strength of the defense case? Are they sticking to bad police work, or have you seen something they would bring to the table like a clue?
The defense is going to really hone in on this touch DNA. And I'm getting ready to do a tweet about this. People probably understand or may not understand that touch DNA is the skin cells and fluids, possibly, for instance, if your fingers are sweaty, that you leave when you touch something. But typically there's friction involved. Not always, but there has to be some sort of friction to some level or another. In this case, that button or that snap on that sheath, for those in your audience that don't walk around carrying knives with sheaths, I walked around as a SWAT member with my knife, with my sheath. So that snap is super tight. It's tight for safety reasons. The last thing you want is to be on an op moving around, and then it comes unsnapped, it becomes dislodged, meaning the knife, or you go in to reach for it and that sheath isn't down, you cut yourself. So this isn't just a loose snap. This is going to be a very tight snap. So that's the reason why I believe his skin cells, came off as he unsnapped that. But the defense is going to say, I don't think they'll ever deny that it's not his DNA on there. I think what they're going to try to say is somebody touched Bryan Kohberger. Then when they undid the snap, Bryan Kohberger's DNA got on it, or that they stole or otherwise came in the possession of Bryan Kohberger's K-bar knife and sheath and purposefully left the sheath there. I think they're going to go with one of those two things. I think they'll also try to say, oh, the touch DNA, you know, it's a smaller amount of skin cells. I don't think that's going to get them anywhere from all the information that I've read and seen and what the experts are saying that are DNA experts. They got to explain why it got there. The only logical reason is that he had snapped it before the crime, took out that knife, and it dropped out of his being stuffed between his pant and his belt, or he put it in a cargo pant pocket and it fell.
That's interesting because the K-bar knife and the sheath, that always comes up, and people always are refuting this DNA. Touch. Is it touch? What kind of DNA is it? Can you clarify if it is touch DNA?
Yeah, let me explain that. So, and I got a lot of flack from some people because I said blood wasn't DNA, but blood isn't DNA. DNA is inside blood. DNA is inside hair, it's inside semen, and it's inside saliva, right? Those products or those items contain DNA. And our skin cells contain DNA, and so do the sweat glands, you know, the sweat that comes out.
Yes.
So when you scrape against something or touch something with friction, those cells go on to what you touch potentially. Now you can imagine if it's a smooth surface, you know, like a wall or a car, you might get fewer skin cells because there'd be less friction. But then you can imagine when you're unsnapping a sheath or using friction to open something, you're going to have more skin cells. So they're one and the same, you know, touch DNA, trace DNA, all that. It just means the skin cells from your fingers.
Jeff H. sent in a question. He said, many are focused on the means and the way they arrested Bryan. Does law enforcement break any rules that hurt the case?
Oh, they did it exactly right. A lot of people might wonder, well, why did they go in the middle of the night? You have to get special permission from the court to go before 6 a.m. You have to go in, explain to the court why. In this case, they would have said they suspect Bryan Kohberger of killing viciously, knifing to death 4 individuals. We believe him to be strong. We believe him to be young. He could possibly be awake because he is up at strange hours of the night from our surveillance and from what we know about him. So we want to do something pre-6 o'clock. They designated a very specific time and they went in. Now they went in what we call in the SWAT world, they went in hard. Hard means they raked and braked a window. They breached the door. They came in quickly and fastly. Now, why did they do that? First of all, they had permission from a judge to do that, so there's nothing illegal. But why did they use these tactics? Because they don't know what he's capable of. Well, they believe he's capable of viciously murdering 4 people. Is he capable of taking a hostage? In other words, if they would have just knocked on the door and said, FBI, we're here, could he have ran to his parents' bedroom and held him at knife point? Could he have killed himself? Could he have run out the door to escape? All of those things. And then you've got a manhunt, right? Then it's a very dangerous situation for the citizenry around that house. So the best thing to do in these situations, you go in hard, go in quick, and you're on the people before they ever even really realize what's happening. So no, nothing illegal. They did it by the book.
He goes by T-REV, so we'll call him that as well. And he joins us now.
People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap gang strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will lead up. All my life I strive for greatness. I manifested my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have the backs. I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps.